So, hi everyone, I'm Boran, and today the topic of this TEDx is about Spark. So I started to thinking that how can I share my methods and my stories about Spark. So let's start it. Firstly, I'd like to ask all of you a question. How many of you here are currently in a relationship? Romantic relationship, like boyfriend or girlfriend? You can raise up your hands or you can wink to me. Okay, cool. And how many of you want to be in this relationship but currently you don't have? Maybe you can also wink to me or raise your hands. Don't worry, I won't call anyone out. Yeah, you can just raise your hands. Okay, so don't worry. Today, I want to tell you a story about why some people might literally find that they are hard to fall in love. Yeah. Okay, so one night, I'm scrolling my TikTok, and I watched a video. It tells about aphantasia. So what is aphantasia? Aphantasia is a kind of phenomenon that someone can't imagine something vividly, such as please imagine a delicious and red apple in your mind now. And maybe you will imagine it very vividly and very clearly, like picture 1. Or maybe you can just think about the edge of it, like the page 4 or picture 4. Or maybe you can just think about a term, apple, but you can't imagine anything. So those who are in 4 and 5, they can't think it clearly, it's called aphantasia. Okay, but don't worry, it's not a serious mental disease. It's a kind of neurodiversity, which means that you lose something such as mental imagery, but you can also, advantages in something. Such as in this picture, you can find that the one who is suffering aphantasia has a mean correct response higher than the control group, which is the normal people in spatial computation or spatial rotation. Okay. So back to our story. In that night, my mother asked me a question that, our high school is very open. She asked me that why I don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, yeah, since if I need to find one, it's more like a boyfriend. Okay, but the most interesting or most important thing is that in that time, I'm not thinking that, why I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I started to think in some vital things, like why we will fall in love or why we will like someone. So each of you have a crush, right? Someone you like it. Maybe you are in a relationship, maybe you're not, but you all have it. So what is the most important thing to make you maintain your romantic desire to someone? I think it's imagination. You will imagine that she or he is smile to you, or hug you, or you're sitting together, or even kiss each other, right? So imagination is very important. And in that time, I think that, aphantasia is the one who has a less mental imagery. Well, the people who less mental imagery is more difficult to fall in love or to maintain their romantic desire. So this is an interesting question, and I started to thinking about it, and I read a lot of paper. So here is psychologists. Most of psychologists thinks about the love. What is love? What is romantic desire? So you can find that there are some binding attraction, attachment, obsessive thinking, and courtship attraction. But those things are all, the social things. It's social impact. But aphantasia is a kind of physiological things. It's your occipital lobe's activity is less than others. So this is a very interesting thinking. Since all of us, when we mention love, we will think that it's highly related to, maybe you're handsome or not, you're pretty or not, you're wealthy or not. But less people will think about, occipital lobe. Brain's occipital lobe's activity lower or higher will impact it. So I think this is very important and interesting questions. So I started to research about it. So here is what I'm thinking. If imagine can let us keep passion, what if we can't imagine, which is aphantasia? So I decided to, make an experiment. Someone told me that, Marvin, this is a very difficult question, or all of the researchers thinks about that romantic relationship is only related to social, think it's related to physiological, is insane, it's crazy. But I think that it's not, since my logic is implied that. So I started to record their EEG, which is brain waves, and also the heart rate variability, HRV. So what is HRV? Our heart is beating and beating forever, right? So there are some spaces between each beating. And heart rate variability is to test whether your heart rate is stable or not. So all of us may know that when we love someone or we think about someone, for example, now everyone thinks about you kiss with your crush, and your heart will beat, not that stable, not stable as normal. So HRV, heart rate variability, is in order to test whether your heart rate is stable or not, to maybe imply that you are thinking about someone, how your romantic desire is strong or not. Okay. So we got some interesting conclusions. Sorry about the, okay. So here is what we got. So you can find that in the left picture, this is the brainwave data I recorded. In the left picture, you can find that the control group, which is normal group, occipital lobe, especially P1 area, is higher than the experiment group, which is aphantasia group. And in the right one, you can find that when we ask the participants to think about their crush, to think about their kissing or their walking with their crush, the control group or the normal group has a higher heart rate variability, while the aphantasia group only have a lower. So this is a very interesting conclusion. So people with vivid mental imagery showed a stronger brain responses and faster heart rates. So those with aphantasia, only the signals were muted or lower. So love is turned out that might not started in heart, it might started in the mind's eye, which is, you can think or not. So at that time, something is reorganized inside me. It's not only about the conclusion of this research, it's about my passion to science. I realized that science isn't just about observing what is visible and looks straight. Just like, AP biology class, A to B, B to C, it's not like this. It's about to reorganizing that how we define invisible. So that discovery began to a single spark of curiosity. It begins from one TikTok clip, one dinner question my mother asked me, and one moment of silence that turned into an idea. Every discovery starts that way. So just think about 2021 Nobel Prize. Scientists found the exact molecules that let us feel heat or cold. So all of you eat chili before, right? Chinese hot pot is very popular, and in Sichuan, the Chinese hot pots need to put a lot of chili to make it very spicy. And all of us know that when we eat hot pot, it will be very sweaty and will feel very hot. right? But most of us, or even most of scientists, think that it's a psychology thing, which means that only us that believe it, but it's not biological. But those scientists, those researchers who wins 2021 Nobel Prize thought that there must be some proteins that can active with something in chili and maybe made us feel very hot. And this comes true. So this is just from a small perception that everyone could have. They didn't create any new sensations. They just simply observed something ordinary and disrupted what people assumed about it and reorganized how we understood it. So I believe that is the process of every spark. Observations turns confusion into curiosity, and disruptions turns our belief to questioning, and maybe reorganization turns the question to our knowledge. So looking back, I think that way also is shaped how I was. So I'm a person also with neurodiversity. I'm ADHD patient, and I eat concert any day. But when I try to focus on one straight line, I feel that I will struggle in it. So in that way, maybe you can jump out and observe quietly, and it will maybe something new will become. So observation gives me peace, and maybe can give you peace too. And when that pattern is repeats, maybe whether in science, maybe in relationships, or maybe yourselves, it will help you. So here's my challenge to you. Try to observe what everyone else overlooks. And maybe you can disrupt what everyone else assumes and reorganize this world. Yeah, and it will reorganize what our understood. Since every spark of change, whether maybe it's a Nobel Prize discovery, such as the 2021 Nobel Prize in biological, physiological, and medicine, or just a high school research project like me, it starts with someone who noticed something differently. It's been overlooked. So the unique perspective cannot be attained by merely entering a laboratory or just participating in a scientific research. The most important thing is to break something like A just lead to B, but try to thinking that maybe C is to A is to maybe C is to B, C is to D, A is to B, then B is to D, instead of just A turns to D. So that's what I want to share with you. So maybe next time you're scrolling through the TikTok or even see something fun, maybe you can wait for your sparks and try to observe it, try to disrupt something that others propose out, whether it seems like solid or not, and reorganize by yourself. Thank you.